Shalom, shalom, call halayim la, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Just a few more words on daylight savings time. All right, we'll start right here. It says, 5 surprising ways your body reacts to daylight saving time. It says, setting your clock forward can impact appetite and focus and may increase the risk of heart attack or stroke. We can go down some. Right here it says, even if you don't feel tired, DST throws your body's internal clock out of whack, which can affect you in ways that you don't realize, says Jocelyn Chang, MD, a neurologist and a sleep medicine specialist, who is a member of the Public Safety Committee for American Academy of Sleep Medicine. Says light is the most powerful regulator of our circadian rhythm. When we change the light exposure we get in the morning and at night, it throws that off. It says you got a higher risk of heart attack and stroke for DST, daylight savings time, impaired decision making. Going into the carelessness and the living in pleasures of Babylon. So if you got DST, which I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, could be wrong. It was 8 months of daylight savings time. So if you got more, you got 8 months out of the year where it's more, it's people they making more impaired decisions. That'll be a chaotic society. All right. It says difficulty with memory and focus. That's why there's a whole bunch of bugged out people that you can't focus. Appetite changes and cravings. It sounds just like Babylon. Overindulging in eating. Difficulty with memory and focus. You can't focus. And not to mention the bread and circus, and then the provocative and scantily clad women. You can't focus. And not to mention, you got it in TV shows, you got it in the cartoons, all on TV. It's everywhere. 4 or 5 it says increased irritation. It says you already know that when you're tired, your mood is affected. Research indicates that it's harder to regulate emotions when you haven't gotten a good night's sleep. You feel irritable, impatient, and more likely to snap at loved ones. All right, and that's, I could be wrong, but Babylon probably has one of the highest death rates, in the whole world for that matter, because a high percentage of the world goes off of the daylight savings time. And by getting less sleep, basically what they did was you set your clock forward to get 1 hour of less sleep, and they do that to get more or less of night. All right. And what that does is going back up to the top, it messes with your sleep pattern. All right. It messes with your sleep pattern. This circadian rhythm is what they call it. The Lord created us off his own time. And the time that he gave to us was the moon. All right, the moon dictates the time. So this going into this is Isaiah 47 in verse 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." All right, they take on the ways of ancient Babylon. You go into that word Babel, which is the Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew, Babal, meaning confusion. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. And they're trying to revamp the economy because DST also helps the economy in some sort, But it's not going to help, America, Babylon the Great, because the Lord is bringing this place down. That's why I said sit on the ground. There is no throne. Jeremiah 51:9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. bringing back DST is not going to, or keeping it permanent is not going to save Babylon the Great. It says, "O daughter of the Chaldeans," and it says, "O daughter of the Chaldeans," because it takes on the ways of the Chaldees. You know, they witchcraft, they sorcery, and DST is actually a daylight savings time is actually a form of sorcery. You know, they're communicating with these different deities, demons. You know, with the spiritual demon Satan. You know, they trying to get consult. You know, this is how they throwing everybody off. You know, and it's probably it's way more ways than daylight savings time that they keep everybody in they try to keep everybody in a confused state. You know, that's why I say that Isaiah 33:6. You know, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. You know, we still here in the world, but this truth is what's keeping us stable. Because you got things like this. You know, that's why in the flesh we feeling all groggy and tired. You know, because of this devil doing stuff on the left hand side. You know, but since we got this truth, you know, we stable. You know, and Abaratazada, we endure to the end. You know, because there is no enchantment against Jacob, roughly paraphrasing. You know, so this stuff isn't going to work on Jacob in the spirit. It says, "For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." And stuff like this, you know, and slavery and the foundation of this place is being remembered. You know, it's being brought to the forefront. All right. It says, "Take the millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the thigh, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." So Babylon the Great is being exposed. You know, all the witchcraft, the sorcery, the foundations of this place. You know, it's all being exposed through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah. All right, going back. This is just a definition right here. It says witchcraft from the Britannica. It says, somewhere in here. Bear with me. Right here. It says witchcraft, traditionally the exercise or invocation of alleged supernatural powers to control people or events. All right, practices typically involving sorcery or magic. All right, so daylight savings time goes into magic and sorcery as well. And you go and you look up the different definitions of witchcraft, and basically one of them went into communicating with left hand deities. All right, it says invocation of alleged supernatural powers. Well, it's not alleged. Supernatural powers to control people or events. You know, in daylight savings time, you know, they communicating with the spiritual demon Satan, and he telling them to control people by, you know, doing daylight savings time to control people and events. You know, because if you offsetting time in a way, you know, you controlling events. You know, everything is out of course. The whole earth is out of course. All right, this is Psalms 82:5. It says, "They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on." I'm gonna start up. Let's see. All right, it says, "Deliver the poor and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked." It says, "They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness." And 2/3 is walking in darkness because they're under the vibration of Satan. You know, these heathen and Esau are under the vibration of Satan. They're in darkness. You know, if it's not about this truth, it's in darkness. All right, it says, "All the foundations of the earth are out of course." And all the foundations of earth are out of course because they're going off of, you know, fucked up time schedules. Again, the time is off of the moon. So the foundations of the earth are out of course. You know, everybody's sleeping schedule is messed up. You know, work schedules, and just the earth in general. You know, nature. everything is crying out. Everything is in a mourning state. Proverbs 29:2. When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, but when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Roughly paraphrasing. So everybody's mourning right now. That's because the world is out of course. All right. This is Proverbs. This is a little bit more. It says, opponents argue that DST disrupts the human circadian rhythms, negatively impacting human health in the process, that it increases fatal traffic collisions, that the actual energy savings are inconclusive. So it's not even concrete that it actually saves energy. It says, and that the DST increases health risks such as heart attack. Year-round standard time, not year-round DST, is proposed to be the preferred option for public health and safety. Clock shifts were found to increase the risk of heart attack by 10% and disrupt sleep and reduce its efficiency. Effects on seasonal adaptation of the circadian rhythm can be severe and last for weeks. Hey, so it says it can be severe and last for weeks. So by doing daylight savings time, the effects, what it causes can be severe. That can be severe in deaths, and last for weeks because it takes a while to adjust to it. And if it was meant to be, you wouldn't necessarily have to force something, that it'd just flow, so you shouldn't have to adjust to anything, again, going back into the Lord created everything for a purpose and everything was flowing, going against the grain, going against the will of the Lord, causes people to adjust, and in turn, has severe effects that last. It probably lasts for longer than weeks, but this devil's not gonna totally tell him himself. It says DSTs. Well, yeah, necessarily. It says DSTs clock shifts have the obvious disadvantage of complexity. People must remember to change their clocks. This can be time consuming, particularly for the mechanical clocks that cannot be moved backward safely. People who work across time zone boundaries need to keep track of multiple DST rules, as not all locations observe DST or observe it the same way. That's confusion. The length of the calendar day becomes variable. It is no longer always 24 hours. And in the beginning part of this, or another article or definition on Wikipedia, a couple of days was 23 hours, a couple of days was 25. It says disruptions to meetings, travel, broadcast, billing systems, and records management is common and can be expensive during the autumn transition from 2 o'clock to 1 o'clock. A clock reads times from 1 o'clock to 1:59:59 twice, possibly leading to confusion. See? Confusion, man. It says some clock shift problems could be avoided by adjusting clocks continually or at least more gradually. For example, Willett at first suggested weekly 20-minute transitions, but this would add complexity and has never been implemented. DST inherits and can magnify the disadvantage of standard time. For example, when reading a sundial, one must compensate for it along with time zone and natural discrepancies. Also, sun exposure guidelines, such as avoiding the sun within 2 hours of noon, become less accurate when DST is in effect. But point being, it just leads to confusion and it leads to deaths. It's not good for the body. So when you're going off DST, it keeps everybody in a confused state. All right. Going into Isaiah 47 and 47, the 47th chapter, starting with verse 1 and verse 9. Verse 9 reading, but these two things shall come to thee, In a moment and one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Because Babylon the Great takes on the sorceries and enchantments. All right. They rely on witchcraft. They're communicating with the spiritual demon Satan. And the rest of the world is following this place. All right. This is Proverbs 29:18. It says, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. And just going to the point that I reiterated earlier, if you don't have the spirit, you're going to perish out here, which we're still going through the same things these people are going through, but through the spirit, we're good. We're stable. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the fear of the Lord is his treasure. We got the fear of the Lord, and Abaratazah, we continue, Abaratazah, we continue with the vision, because if we don't got the vision, we could be like one of these casualties, Hey, but Lord willing, that was edifying. Call her like Mla, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Kakdash, Shalom.